Hey everyone, hope you guys are enjoying Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak on both the Nintendo Switch and on PC. And today we're going to be checking out the fact that pretty much out of nowhere, a brand new hotfix patch has become available on the PC side of things for Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. Both versions of the game are actually getting updated directly. This will not be applicable to the Nintendo Switch version of things, and we're going to be going over the patch notes in just a second. They're not necessarily all that long, but you're going to understand as to why it doesn't necessarily apply to the Nintendo Switch. Officially on the Monster Hunter Twitter account, they went ahead and confirmed that update point 13.0.0.1 is now live for Monster Hunter Rise on Steam, which includes minor bug fixes and adjustments. And when you take a closer look at the patch notes, I'm going to be leaving a link in the description below for the official patch notes if you haven't necessarily know where to check them out. The patch is now available on Steam, and you don't necessarily need to own Sunbreak. You could just have the base version of Rise and automatically be able to have access to it. It mentions that in order to use the DLC and be able to play online, you need to update your base version of Rise. So of course, there's no real change there. When you take a closer look at the bug fixes and balance changes, however, you're going to notice two things. First, it mentions that they fixed a bug where the player would be able to select a voice that they do not own when changing their appearance using specific steps. Now notice how they don't necessarily mention which steps you needed to take to essentially be able to have full access to paid DLC voice packs. That is essentially what they're referring to. Obviously, all the voice packs, all the DLC, and all the downloadable content that even if it's paid DLC, it's something that you already have available in your game's file. Usually when you end up buying DLC, what you have access to is the key that unlocks said files which are already part of the game. So people ended up finding out that through specific steps, you could go ahead and change your character's voice through one of those brand new or maybe of a different paid DLC voice packs. So we know we have multiple characters available in different voice packs, and this is pretty much something that on the PC side of things, people figured out. We don't necessarily know what the details were. I'm going to look into this a little bit further and probably report on it later, but it won't necessarily make a lot of difference since it has already been patched. Now, the second most interesting note here is the fact that they mentioned that they changed the default cursor position to no for the message confirming the creation of new save data that may appear when launching the game. Now, this is in direct correlation to the fact that on the Steam side of things, this does not necessarily apply to the Nintendo Switch. Gamers have been complaining, and plenty of hunters have hit me up on this. I've made now 2 separate videos on this issue, bringing this to Capcom's attention as best as possible. Even in the Capcom's creator program, I've brought this up to them as well, that they need to look into the fact that players on the PC side of things continue to report that they do not have access to their save files, to their save character data for whatever reason. After some things are like either met or some mistake happened as the game is being loaded, or whatever the case may be, they end up getting shown with a prompt that their save is either corrupted or is not available, and if they wish to create a new save data. Now, what they're changing here is the fact that if you do get prompted with the create a brand new save data option, it's already defaulted into yes. So if you're kind of just mashing the buttons, not necessarily paying attention to if you're using a controller for the PC side of things, or even just, keyboards, if you're just spamming the button to confirm, chances are you're going to end up overwriting your save data because you're just already creating a brand new one, and it overwrites your old one. Now, a lot of people have reported that usually your save data is stored in a different format, so maybe you just need to kind of like drag and drop it from one place to one folder to another, so it just kind of restores itself. People have brought up multiple different solutions. Capcom themselves brought up an alternate solution if you were running into this problem multiple times, usually involving kind of like cleaning up your PC files, folders, and stuff like that, and of course rebooting completely, updating to the latest format, and then maybe the latest patch, and maybe that addressed some of the issues. Doesn't necessarily solve it for everyone, but of course that has been one of the things that they suggested. Now they're basically changing that create new save format option to no. So if you are spamming the button for whatever case may be, you don't automatically create a new save. You just kind of get tossed back into the main screen, and then you can go ahead through the process, and you don't completely lose your character save data, which is of course infuriating if you already have spent multiple dozens, if not hundreds of hours on your character. Multiple people have reported that they've lost 400, 600, 800, even 1,000 hours on their characters simply because this bug on PC still has not necessarily been fully resolved. The fact that they're addressing this and at the very least a cursor option menu means to me that they're fully aware of this situation at this point, and chances are they're going to try to address it going forward. So hopefully in the future we can report that that glitch, that bug has fully been resolved, and players on the PC side of things no longer have to worry about their character save data being, you know, corrupted or anything like that. One of the things that I have suggested to people is that, of course, just make a copy of your files. Just make a copy of your save file already. Make sure you know where to find it. Make a copy of that every 20 hours or so. You know, maybe you know, just do that manually, and you should be good to go. If it gets corrupted, so be it. You just have at the very least, you lost 10 to 15, 20 hours. You don't lose 400 hours. You know, that's not obviously the most optimal solution to the problem, but if Capcom is struggling to find a real solution, then maybe that is the best way we can go about it. So that seems to be what these patch notes are. 13.0.0.1 for the Steam side of things. Nintendo Switch players do not necessarily need to be concerned since this does not apply to you, but we don't necessarily know if there will be a hotfix for the Switch in the foreseeable future as of right now. If you are brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.